Hello and welcome along to another episode of Kianski Car Stories. November Delta is the nickname for the new-to-me 2019 Mazda Miata, a Halloween purchase from just south of San Francisco. Drove it back to LA on the same day and excited to share it with you. It is a club trim with a 6-speed and comes with a fantastic BBS Brembo Recaro package. Well, with that intro out of the way, let's talk about what's going on in this episode. We're going to be installing a RoadsterSport Super Q exhaust by Goodwin Racing. I asked them what the Q stood for. They told me to be quiet. Fair enough. I had another RoadsterSport muffler on my 2003 Miata, and that provided a throatier sound without being too loud, and I think that's what's going to happen with this installation. So let's go ahead and get started. Always want to be comfortable. Alright, now looking underneath the car, we have 2 hangers on this side and 2 more on the other side. It shouldn't be too hard to take these off since the car is relatively new, unlike my 2003 Miata. That was quite the ordeal trying to get them off. I didn't have any hanger pliers, asked around for them, no one had them readily available, and so I struggled a lot. But this time, we have them. So this should make life a lot easier. Still going to spray some soapy water to help lubricate, but always good to have the right tool for the job. And here's a connection to the mid pipe, so we'll have to remove those 2 studs. So we have a total of 3 underneath the car. Get in there. We'll let that do its thing. Now we'll take the studs out. All right, so we have 2 of these 14mm nuts we'll have to take off. Use the impact wrench to make life easy. Okay. So one of the studs remain, which I've heard can happen, so we'll have to take that out once we take the exhaust off. All right, now that we have this loose, it's time to put this bad boy to use. Just rhyming all over the place. All right, before I take that completely off, I'm gonna bring a jack stand to help support the muffler so it doesn't fall down, and then I'll do the other side. Okay, now moving over to the right side. And there it is. Alright, so now we'll take these hangers off the car, put them on the new exhaust, and then slide the whole assembly back on. So these should be easier to remove without using the pliers, but you know what? Let's do it anyway. No, I take that back. It's a lot easier with these pliers. It's almost like they were meant for this. Look how skinny the anti-sway bar is. I had no idea it was this small. Let's go ahead and measure it, shall we? All right, I'm getting about 0.443 inches. So converting that into millimeters, that comes out to be. All right, so before moving on, have to take out that stud from the flange. There is the jam nut method where you would put 2 nuts on this section, tighten them up against each other, and then use a wrench to put leverage on the stud and loosen it. However, this nut didn't really come loose at all from this other stud, and if I'm going to
wrestle with this just to get it off, well, I might as well just wrestle with that one. So for now, let's start off by lubricating it with a little bit of liquid wrench just to loosen it up, and in fact, probably best to do that in the beginning. All right, now that that's kind of soaked through, I noticed there are some flat spots around this flange right here, so I think with a set of vice grips, should be able to clamp down and take this off. Cool. There we go. I feel like this rubber band's gonna hit me in the face or just snap. So here's a comparison of the two different mufflers. On the stock setup, air exiting the downpipe goes directly into the muffler and comes out, whereas on the Roadster Sport, it does a little bit more traveling. It's got a little hairpin churn over there, and then it goes into a muffler that has a smaller volume, which should contribute to a louder sound. All right, so I'm gonna make life easy and just use the jack to roll it in and raise it up. Just need to lubricate the hangers and then should be good to go. Don't drop it. All right, now time to put in the studs. Just put them in tight for now, and then I'll torque them down a little bit at a time. Keep in mind you need a deep socket to get this done. According to the instructions, you need 30 foot-pounds. Well, looks like we're already there. And there's 30 on that side. I think we're done. And now for the fun part. Now these come with an internal baffle, which is optional. You can remove that for a little bit more noise. From my last experience, I definitely preferred removing the baffle, so I'll go ahead and do that here as well. There we go. So that comes out, a little bit more noise. And without further ado, let's give it the first cold start.